Alright, I know this was Luka's revenge game, but with the way Kai came out, I would have thought he was looking for one. And maybe he was going against two former teammates, because he was putting them up on one end, then reading the passing lanes on the other. It was obvious he wanted to set the tone for the Mavs, but he was really the only one making shots, and they were having the same stagnation issues they had against the Dubs, because without their bigs, he's basically responsible for their paint pressure. That's requiring him to get his and create open looks for the others, but that's too much to ask of one player, because all the Lakers had to do was shade his angles, so as long as he wasn't getting clean looks, they were willing to live with the others shooting. They just sagged off him, especially Exum, and it worked, because none of them could convert on their looks. But what made it worse for the Mavs was them not converting on any of their old boards even with all those fortunate bounces, so all those misses just led to Luka cleaning glass to push pace. If it wasn't him and Braun playing off each other in transition, it was the both of them hunting matchups in the half court, because the Mavs opted to red everything to start the night, so that didn't work, and their quick adjustment was to outright sell on Luka, but all that did was open up the backside advantage. The only thing that stopped him was the bench, but the Lakers staggered his minutes with Austin at the start of the second, so even he got to find his rhythm, and that just led to him, Luka, and Braun having their way in the first half. If anything, this shouldn't have even been a game, but the Mavs made it one in the third with their defense, because they were taking away the paint, and the Lakers lost that same pace from earlier, so without a rhythm, they weren't converting on those same sprays from deep. Now it was the Mavs' turn to play with more pace throughout the quarter from all those stops, and some of that was even showing throughout the second, but what showed more was the timely shots they hit. It started with Max's back-to-back late in the second, then Clay's at the start of the third, and then Exum's late in that quarter, but the most important ones were Clay's, because those breakdowns were what led to him getting it going in the second half. Between him, Kai, and some of the others making shots, they had stretches that they could have capitalized on to take control of the game, but they blew them, so the closest they got to was tying it a couple times in the fourth, and a lot of it was because of the Lakers' defense. It started with Hayes altering everything at the rim early in the quarter, and those combined with the Mavs going ice cold just turned into easy runouts throughout, especially for Braun, so that's how they were getting most of their buckets. Once again, it was that end of the floor that made the big difference, but even without the stops, they still out-executed the Mavs on the other, and that's just the benefit of having Braun and Luka as the closers. Both of them just exploited matchups, and finally connected on a double out of the post, because they missed a lot of those looks early on whenever the Mavs fired. But it wasn't just them two that showed up, because Dodo made some big plays down the wire, including a tip dunk from the dunker before Braun did the same thing later, and for some reason, the Mavs were never aware of who was occupying that spot at all. I lost track of the amount of times one of them just casually got there unnoticed or with no resistance, and it really goes to show how bad the Mavs need their bigs back, so hopefully they get them before that final matchup in Dallas, because that's going to be the real revenge game for Luka. Just watch the tape.
And it's Doncic to LeBron James.